Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Microsoft forms. I'm going to go to that. So I'm going to go to my downloads. There's a format already. Let me do a shortcut in my downloads. So user sample templates. This is supposed to be what we're going to use. So let me upload this to my OneDrive. It just gets to be very, very, very difficult with this thing here to navigate. What's that shortcut again? Okay. Okay, so got the hang of it. So let's get going. So I'm going to be uploading the form to OneDrive. New. Going to click files upload. Go to my downloads. Going to pick this. Going to click open. So it's open. Import user templates.csv. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to open in the web. Very good. So I'm going to get all of these. Let me just do this. Okay. So just gonna do this. This is showing me read only. Going to convert it to something I can edit. Okay. So I can go this way and then format as table. Let's make it a little very simple table. Alright, so I go now to insert, click on forms to create new forms. It's creating a new form. So, but the general idea is this. I'm supposed to create a form that has username, first name, last name, display name, job title, department, and the rest. So open the form. Import user template. You can see the name is here. So let's start. First name will be username. To add new question, click on text. Then first name, last name, display name. First name, last name, and then display name. And display name is the same thing as your full name. right? So we can, if you want to, call this full name. So what else do we have? Subtitle, department, office number. I think the rest are irrelevant. Then let's add new, which is going to be email. Right. So after we've done this, you can see that it's already showing me saved here. So let's get back to Microsoft Power Automate. So after we've created the form already, we can now come to Microsoft Power Automate. So we're now going to connect the form. Remember I said something about connectors, the little interface that will now connect the form with Microsoft Power Automate. I'm now going to go to create. Remember the problem I'm trying to solve here? I want to send them personalized emails, and I don't want to be sending emails one after the other. I've shown you the contradiction, the way you will normally do it, and I'm not showing you how we're going to do it now. So let's go. We're going to create an automated cloud flow. What do we name our flow? Let's call it Power Platform Bootcamp. So this, you can see there's already an option for our trigger when a new response is submitted, right? We can use this. Now, in Microsoft Power Automate, there are basically two major things. One is a trigger, one is an action. Now, I usually use this example to explain what triggers and actions are. So imagine you have a loaded gun. Very, very, very useful example. Pulling the trigger is what will take the action of shooting the bullet out of the gun, right? So the bullet does not go out automatically, even though funny enough, this is called automated cloud flow. The trigger is responsible for what will start the event. The main event is for the bullet to leave the gun, but for that to happen, the trigger has to be pulled. Until the trigger is pulled, the bullet will not leave the gun. So that's until the trigger is met, which is the scenario now for Microsoft Power Automate. You will not see you won't have a situation where the actions will take place. So if I want an email to be sent automatically, there must be something that will trigger the email, and that for me is the trigger will be when a new response is submitted on Microsoft Forms. So anytime you go on that form and you submit a response, that should be what will trigger my flow. There are a lot of options here. I'm going to click on create. It's going to open me up to the interface for Microsoft Power Automate. You can see this. Let's just give it this a while. This, let me see, not connected. Okay, so it has not connected. So if you, in case you experience this when you're creating, don't panic, just give it a while. It's going to give you invalid parameters, or what it just showed me that has to do with the response, right? Like about the connection. Just give it a while, the connections will be properly established. So we need to pick a form, and then that will be based on the name of the form we've created already. So this is not showing up. Let's go back to our form. Let's try to see if we can collect responses for now. Form is saved already. Let's have a preview. It's PK. First name. Last name. Display name should be my full name. Email address. It's Gmail. Submit this. Submit another response. Basically just to test it. And then let's get back to this. Let me refresh this. So sometimes you have to wait for the connection to be established, right? So you have to just Takes a little while sometimes. Let's wait. Let's see. Response submitted. Invalid parameters. Form ID is required. So you can see that it's now appeared, right? Import user template. Remember that that's the name of my form, as you can see it here. So I'm going to get back. Then I'm going to pick this, right? Now after I've picked this, I'm going to now close this. This has already picked the form. So it's now going to go and monitor the form. Let me use that word, right? The way monitoring spirits do. It's going to monitor the form. Now it's going to be looking at each and every form. It's going to be looking at each and every instance of the form. When immediately someone drops a response, this thing triggers. Now what do we want it to do? The next action we want it to do is to get the response of the person who just submitted the form. So we're going to do something like get response. It's not showing up. Let's see. Aha, get response details. You can see that here, Microsoft Forms. I'm going to click it, and then it's going to ask me for the ID for the form again. So you can read more about this. So this should give us. So this said this action retrieves a form response, right? So we're going to choose our form ID, which is this again. Import user template. Then the response ID now is we're now getting into what we call dynamic content. Now the word static means something doesn't change. The word dynamic means that something is fast changing. So when we say things like dynamic content or dynamic values, these are values that change per time. So the response that someone is giving when they fill in the form is going to change as people fill the form more. So after it has triggered and someone gives a response again, it needs to go and pick that ID again. So we're going to use this. So you see this little thunder icon here. You're going to click on it, and then you're going to see something called response ID. So unique identifier of the response. Use with get response details. So you're going to click this, and then once you click this, you can close this, and then now it's time to send the email. I'm going to click on this, add an action, and then action is send email. So you can see it's a very, very simple 3-step Power Automate the flow. So we can send an email. Make sure you click on send an email v2. You can see something called send an email with options. If you want to send the email to people and you want them to have certain options, all these kind of things. But then we're going to change this. Going to delete this, and then add an action, send email v2. Very simple. So what I would like for you guys to do, for those who have access to the license for now, is this. There's an application I created in the first video, a 3-screen application. We're going to look at how we're going to modify it and combine it with a Microsoft Power Automate flow, so that you can see how the thing works. That's even if you get to do just those 2 things in this bootcamp and you get to understand it well, that's just fine for me. Even though we have Power Automate, we have Copilot, and I remember Anthony asking whether or not we're going to delve into the part for AI. We're going to see how we can do that. Even if we don't finish it within this bootcamp, we're still within the group. We can schedule another class where we can jump on a call, and then I'll walk you through how it's done since you have the license. So who are we sending it to? Now, this is where we're going to have to pick. So as you can see, the send email action is going to ask you now, who are we sending it to? So first and foremost, we have the trigger. Then we have an action. This is, mind you, this is also an action. But then other actions, an action can bet another action. So for us to be able to send their email to each and every one of them individually, we need to be able to fetch their email. Let me see how much time I have. Okay, 16 minutes. We need to be able to fetch the email. So after we've gotten the response, we want to now send an email, right? So we're now going to come to this. We've already added the action. There's no place for us to put what's it called, dynamic content. So we're going to click to switch to advanced mode, right? And once you click here, the thunder button appears and you click on it. Now once you click on it, look at how funny that thing looks. You have username, first name, last name, display name, email address, and the rest. So we want to use email address, right? Not responders email. Please take note. Email address. Email address is the question we ask in the form. Answer to the question above, email address. That we're sending it to the email address that the person is providing as the answer. So we're going to say power. The subject of the email is going to be power platform bootcamp registration, right? Now we're now going to go to the body of the email. We're going to say hello, right? Now I want to put in the first name of the person, so I want it to be like hello Panshak or hello Nazifi or hello Redmoon. Let me see which names. Let me call some other name. Hello Azizi, hello Christian. Basically that's what we want to do. So we're going to now click on this thunder button again, because that one is going to be a dynamic content, or dynamic it's going to be dynamic content. So we're going to click on this, and then this option comes up again, first name. That's what I want to use. I'm going to put that. So hello first name, comma, we are glad you have registered for this class, right? We're going to say when your license is created, it will have the display name of, and then we can have the display name, which is the full name, right? Then we can click enter. Now, interesting thing about this is that you can, for instance, make hello bold. You can italicize license. So once you italicize license, you can just basically format the text, increase the size and everything, color. The fun part is to insert a link. So for instance, I want to send the let's say the YouTube link to each and every person. I will use this, right? Basically, so this is what we've done already. We have each and everything going. Hello, we're glad you have registered for this class. When your license is created, it will have the display. Sort this out. Name of this, display name, full name. So we can now close this and save our automation. Now you have to save it first before it is going to be active, before it can be able to trigger. So your flow is ready to go. We recommend you test it, right? So if I click on test, I'm going to click on manually test, then I'm going to click on test. So you say to see it work now, perform the starting action, which is the trigger. So I'm going to do something like this. Then I'm going to enter my name. Okay. PK. First name Panshak. Last name Koproda. Display name Panshak Koproda. In case you have people wondering how to pronounce my name. Then the email. That's why you have to be careful when so the email is correct. Then I'm going to click on submit. So let's see. Your response was submitted. We'll be expecting the email from anytime now. It may take a little while. I'm going to come back to this place, and as you can see, your flow ran successfully. Give me 3 check marks. Let me see. Let me refresh to see if the email has arrived. Yes, Panshark Corporate new Power Platform Bootcamp registration. What can you see? Hello, Panshark. We are glad you registered for this class. When your license is created, it will have the display name of Panshark Corporate. So that's how automation works in the simplest way. I'm really I believe that nobody is confused. So let's get back. Let's see if we have questions.